everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of Wrestling with My Appetite. My name is the Unbreakable Caden LeDuc. This is the show where I taste some of the best food around Plattsburgh, New York, all while talking about the fun world of professional wrestling. This week is going to be a really good one of my favorite things to eat. It's a comfort food, I suppose. It's delicious. It is the Chicken Parm sub this one's from Armittos, which is a small Italian restaurant in Plattsburgh. Let's take a look at that. That is beautiful. Look at that melted cheese right there. Oh, I don't want it to fall. That'd be bad. Anyway, Armittos is a little Italian place in Plattsburgh, New York. They're relatively new, but they've been making some waves, so kind of like me. Joking. Kind of. Anyway, so yeah, I'm excited to taste this. I'm excited to talk about also my PAC Extreme title reign, which will be the wrestling topic of this video, is continuing my my wrestling story so far in my career. Before we get to that, I am going to take a bite of this Chicken Parm sub because it looks absolutely delicious. All right, yeah, look at this. Look at that. There we go. Like good amount of sauce, not too much to where the bread's all soggy, but enough to where there's some moisture there. I can already tell that. So let's taste it. Mm-hmm. That's Chicken Parm sub right there. Mm-hmm. One more bite real quick. Gold Peak Raspberry Tea. I'm gonna give this a shot. I don't know about that. I don't know about the tea. A little bit too sweet for me. 48 grams of sugar. Well, DDP Yoga's doing me good, I guess. Anyway, so after I retained the PAC Extreme title over Jack Vegas at PAC War of Change, Jack Vegas took a little bit of time to recover from some injuries that he had sustained. So he did not wrestle at the next show. I think the original plan might have been for me to wrestle him again as a third, like a trilogy type of thing, but it didn't happen. Instead, the guy I ended up wrestling is Ethan Venom Roberts, who's an MMA fighter turned pro wrestler for PAC. Very good, very explosive, strong. Got that kind of doesn't speak charisma to him. Like, maybe not the best talker, but he's got that kind of cool vibe factor charisma to him. Not unlike, I think the best person to compare him to, I don't think he's that level, but like a Brock Lesnar. Just because, not just because of the MMA stuff, but because of the menacing, like doesn't speak, like a Goldberg kind of doesn't speak, just, comes up, shows up, kicks ass, leaves. That's just him. And he definitely found that for himself over the past few years, and it's definitely worked. He's still young, and he's already very good. So the unique thing in my career that I was very proud of with my match against Venom is the fact that it was the first time I'd ever main evented a show. And especially considering it was for the Extreme title, I was very proud of that because before I had won the Extreme title, the title was not being defended on shows almost. It had been almost, before I challenged and beat Vegas for it, it had been almost a year before the title had even been defended on a PAC show. So I was very proud of that. I thought I had really helped elevate, not just me, Vegas too. I thought we really elevated that title and made it a main event title that was coveted. I thought that the title became a bigger deal than it was before I held it, and that's the best thing you can do as a champion. I took pride in the fact that I was the champion, and I know people can say, oh, it's not real or whatever, but I took legitimate pride in holding that title. I mounted the title on my wall along with the tag title that I'd won, but I mounted the title on my wall, and I was just like, this is mine. It is my job to make this title bigger. And with the PAC Extreme title, I thought I did a pretty good job because it went from never being defended to being in the main event, and I think that that's the best thing you can ask for as a champion. However, the show, Season's Beatings, not PAC's finest outing. PAC's had a lot of great shows, but this was not one of them. Highlights of the show: Nick Cruz, the greatest wrestler alive other than me, and Kurgan, beat Barracuda in the first match of the show. He wore a disguise and distracted Barracuda and used some weird tactics, but he did become the PAC world champion for the first time in his career. Hopefully not the only time in his career. But although the moment could have been better, probably I was still happy for him because he is my best friend, and I thought that was a good moment to open the show, and then from then on it kind of went downhill. The one match that was very good was Scrap Iron versus Justin Destructible, Andrew Justin Destructible Breer, and what was the last match of Justin Destructible Breer's career. He beat Scrap Iron in what turned out to be his last match, and that match was very good. My match with Venom in the main event wasn't bad, but it wasn't as good as I thought it should have been. For a few different reasons. There wasn't really much of a story going into it. Venom had just been feuding with Scrap Iron, and I had been feuding with Jack Vegas, so we didn't really have any reason to feud other than the fact that I was trying to turn the match into an MMA fight. That was the whole thing I was trying to go for, was anything he can do, I can do better. So considering he was an MMA fighter, I wore basically MMA. I wore MMA fight shorts, the gloves, everything like that. I taped my feet up instead of wearing boots. So I thought that element was there, and that was good. But also during the match, Venom got hurt. He gave me a German suplex, and I believe he dislocated his shoulder. And we kind of had to end the match way earlier than we were supposed to. We were supposed to go like maybe 20 minutes, and we ended up going like 8, 9, just because he was hurt. And nobody's fault, really. Not my fault, not his fault. Just one of those things that happens. And so the end of the match kind of changed a little bit on the fly. We sent Scrap Iron out there to run in. He hit me with the kendo stick for the DQ, so I was still a champion. He hit Venom with the kendo stick, and then new world champion Nick Cruz runs out and clears the ring and stands tall at the end. So a good moment from Nick Cruz to start the show, and a good moment from Nick Cruz to end the show, but a lot of the stuff in the middle there, just not PAC's finest. Cheese. Nothing against provolone cheese, but I'm not really sure how I like it on a chicken parm sub. I mean, it tastes fine, but not really what you're used to having on chicken parm. You're used to having parm or mozzarella, but I guess the provolone works for this sandwich. So yeah, PAC Season's Beatings, maybe not PAC's finest outing. However, the next PAC show I think was PAC's finest outing, probably the best PAC show of all time. And the circumstances around it were unfortunate, but it was a great show. The show was called Indestructible, and it was a tribute show to the life of Andrew Breer, who unfortunately passed away the month after PAC Season's Beatings, 2018. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but all I want to say about him is that he was one of the most fun guys to be around. He was really funny. He was always making things around him better. He was always making people around him better. He was always making everyone smile and laugh and have a great time. And although I wasn't as close to him as I wish I was, I wasn't as close to him as like Scrap Iron or Natron or people like that, but because they've been friends with him for their whole lives and known him forever. I was new. I was only 2 years in at that point, almost 3, but so I didn't know him as well as I wish I had. But every time I was hanging out with him, he was awesome. He's one of the best guys you can ask for. PAC Indestructible was a tribute show to him. I was going in as PAC Extreme Champion and as PAC Tag Team Champion along with Nick Cruz. Nick Cruz was the World Champion and the Tag Champion. And for the first time in our 1.5 year long Tag Team title reign, we were going to defend the tag titles against Jack Vegas and Barracuda, my biggest rival from the past year and Nick's biggest rival from the past year. So we had a tag team title match in the opening match of PAC Indestructible, and this is what happened. Honestly, is there anything better than just chicken parm in general? Have you ever had a chicken parm that didn't taste good? Like, yeah, there's some that are better than others, but any that didn't taste good? Just thing about that is that when me and Nick won the tag team titles, we really thought we were going to elevate them. We were really going to put them on a new level. We were going to have some great tag team matches, some great defenses, and really build a good reign and just elevate those tag team titles. And we couldn't, and we didn't. And a little bit of it's on us, a little bit of it's not. But I think we immediately after winning the tag team titles went into singles careers. Like, we didn't have a tag team match together from when we won the titles to when we lost them. That was in a span of a year and a half. And there weren't a whole lot of shows in that time, but at the same time, we never once defended them until we lost them. So, and like I said, a little bit of that's our fault. Like, maybe we were too eager to go for me with the Extreme title and with Nick for the world title. There were some times where we had planned to defend them on shows, and then just that didn't work out. It just kind of fell through. But at the same time, I thought that tag match was good. I thought it was pretty good against Jack Vegas and Barracuda. I don't know if it was as good as the one with Venom and Supernova. Maybe it was, but it was a very fired up crowd. And as you can see a little bit, I was not in the best shape of my life for this show. This was a bit of a rough time in my life, and I don't really want to get into the details, but this show was not my finest hour physically and visually, I suppose. A little bit of little chubby, little chubby, just a little bit. But our night was not over, because although we had lost the tag team titles, we found out after the match that later in the night, Nick Cruz would have to defend the PAC World title against Venom and Supernova in a triple threat match, and I would have to face Casanova, Supernova's brother, and Supernova, of course, is the worst man alive. And that was going to be for the Extreme title, me, Casanova. And Casanova, who was going through a bunch of different gimmick changes at the time, he'd been going, it's one of his favorite things to do is come out as basically dressed as different movie characters. The previous show at Season's Beatings, he had come out to Roddy Piper's They Live character and fought two horses, which I was not a fan of myself, but maybe somebody was. But this show, he came out as Born in the USA's Bruce Springsteen. And I mean, who doesn't love the boss? At the same time, me and him had a match for the Extreme title. And the crowd was very eager to see me win because of what had happened earlier in the show. And did I win? Find out. So there you go. Tag title reign was over. Jack Vegas and Barracuda stood tall in that match. However, I was able to find... So there you go. Tag title reign was over. Jack Vegas and Barracuda stood tall at the end of that match. However, I was still able to find a way to beat Casanova later in the night. Maybe if he had not come out as Bruce Springsteen, it would have been a little bit different for him. Maybe if he was David Bowie or Prince, but you know, that's just me saying that. That one is the match that I really realized how out of shape I was at the time. It was just, it's a good match. Like, it is a pretty good match, I think. And the crowd loved it. But for me watching it, I don't like that I was wearing one glove. And the reason I was wearing one glove is because I couldn't find my other one. I had left it at home or in my bag or something. The fact that I I would say I was fat at the time, was a bit of an eye-opener. And although maybe if it hadn't been for that show, I wouldn't have had the desire to just get in shape again, because that was not pretty to watch for me. At least I won. So at least I was still PAC Extreme Champion. But that show overall I think was great. Nick Cruz also won his title match against Supernova and Venom to retain his world title. And in the main event, Scrap Iron and Bill the Crusher Bigelow had a short but sweet, cool brawl that they went all over the place. And Scrap Iron did Justin Destructible's finisher to Crusher Bigelow through a table in a last man standing match for the win there. That was an awesome show. The crowd really loved the Entity. They were definitely into the Entity, and I think every match in that show was good. That was one of the shows that you can look back on, and I think it really does hold up with just about anything. And it was a great show for a great cause. The cause was for the National Suicide Awareness Society, because it was a tribute to Justin Destructible. There's going to be the next PAC show that will happen whenever this COVID stuff is over. It's going to be Indestructible 2. Same, it's for the North Country Suicide Awareness Walk, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what it's for. Just so we can keep giving back. And that's what I think that's what Andrew Breer would have wanted us to do, is continue to give back and to raise money for great causes. And that's what PAC does, and that's what PAC does best. So my Extreme title reign was not over, and that was a good thing for me. I still had a title. I might have lost the other one, but I still had a title. Nick Cruz still had a title, I think that my Extreme title reign really built. I was proud of it at that point. And with that, my appetite has been defeated. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like and a comment. Maybe try it out for yourself. Armittos Pizza, great place. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you watched it. Hope you had a good time. That's what I want from you guys. I want you to have a good time. Have a great day. Wash your hands and stay safe.